Alright, ladies, let me ask you something and I want you to be honest with yourself. Do you believe that you deserve a loving, healthy relationship with a man? One where he chooses you, supports you, and shows up consistently? If your answer is yes, then I agree with you. So the real question is that if you deserve that kind of relationship, why do you keep ending up as the woman with potential? A woman that a man likes, the woman who gets interest and chemistry sometimes, but never consistency and commitment. Well, the first thing you need to understand is that none of this is about your worth, okay? It's about patterns. Patterns in how you choose and patterns in how you respond. My name is Ismael Gomez and I coach women like you to attract authentic love with a man. And in this video, we're going to break down the specific patterns that keep this cycle going on and more importantly, how to shift out of them. Okay, so let's begin. Number 1, you focus on the wrong dynamic. Most of you ladies spend hours every day only focusing on one thing, and that is avoiding pain. You watch all the videos about red flags, narcissistic men, love bombing, and that awareness matters, okay? It's going to keep you safer. It's going to help you avoid dynamics that drain you, confuse you, or slowly erode your self-esteem. But the part that rarely gets talked about is that avoiding what's bad is not the same skill as attracting what's healthy. Hear that again, okay? Avoiding what's bad is not the same skill as attracting what's healthy. When most of your focus is only on red flags, your nervous system is going to stay in protection mode. You're scanning, evaluating, bracing, waiting for something to go wrong. And while that may keep you from choosing the wrong man, it doesn't naturally lead you toward the right one. And this is why content about red flags spreads so fast, because it resonates with your pain. It's going to validate past experiences. It's going to give language to wounds that were never explained to you. When you only focused on avoiding harm, you're only asking, how do I not get hurt again? But when you're focused on alignment, you're going to be asking a different question. You're going to be asking, who do I become and how do I choose to build something healthy? And those two are completely different patterns, right? One is defensive and the other one is intentional. And you have to understand that healthy relationships are not built by constantly guarding against danger. They're built by recognizing healthy patterns and knowing how to move toward them when they appear. If all of your energy goes into avoiding the wrong men, you may end up safe, but you're also going to feel disconnected. So if all of this resonates with you and you want to make a change, I do have a video here on the channel where I explain the 3-step system that I teach all of my clients, all right? I'm going to leave you the link in the pinned comment so you can check it out after this one. Number 2, you turn standards into preferences. So a standard is a minimum requirement that you expect in your relationships, and a preference is something that you like but can live without. And that difference matters more than you realize, because I know that most of you actually start dating with standards: consistency, effort, clear communication, and a desire for commitment. So the shift doesn't usually happen at the beginning. It often happens after you start getting attracted to a man, because there's chemistry, maybe some infatuation, and suddenly, without you consciously deciding to, your rules soften. So what used to be a requirement suddenly becomes something that you're open about, and what used to signal no becomes something that you're willing to wait on. And that is the moment that standards turn into preferences. And I see this with so many clients, okay? When they used to think, I need consistency to continue, now suddenly becomes, I would prefer consistency, but Ismael, I understand that he's really busy. And instead of holding your belief of I don't date emotionally immature men, all you can think about is that he said that he likes you too, and he spoke to you on the phone for 1 hour yesterday. But again, these small adjustments are going to change the entire dynamic, because a standard is going to create structure, it's going to filter men out, and it's going to create direction. But a preference is going to invite negotiation. And when that structure disappears early on, that relationship is going to lose its ability to move forward naturally. This is how you end up explaining your needs instead of seeing them met, okay? Feeling emotionally invested while the relationship stays undefined. And do not think that this happens because men don't understand standards. It happens because standards only work when they're enforced through action and not explanation. And this is where many women unintentionally become the woman with potential, the good enough, because you believe that you're being understanding, patient, emotionally mature, but underneath that is often a quiet fear. A fear that if you hold that standard, you might lose that man. So you start bending your standards, you start being flexible again and again until eventually it no longer exists. And that is exactly how you become potential. Not someone to decide on, but someone to keep around. So the only way to do this, especially keeping your self-respect, is not by stating your standards, it's also by maintaining them, even when you're in love with this man. I can tell you this from my own relationship, that since day one, my partner's standards have always been the same. They didn't shift as her love for me grew or as I invested more in the relationship. So I never had to guess what mattered because I always knew where she stood. And final, number 3, you position yourself as the safe option. Sometimes you're in connections where the man is clearly cheating, disrespecting you, or emotionally unavailable. And those situations are painful, right? But most of the time you do know that you have to walk away. But the most dangerous connection that I see that many of you fall for is the one where the man likes you. He's genuinely kind, he shows up sometimes, but he's also inconsistent, directionless, and undefined. But because nothing feels extremely wrong, you stay. You understand him, you empathize with his stress, his timing, his uncertainty, and you tell yourself that he just needs space or time or clarity that he hasn't found yet. But empathy without limits does not create clarity, it's going to create comfort. And this is how women like you get stuck in situationships and connections that don't move forward for months, sometimes even for years, right? You feel like the relationship is just floating, nothing is progressing. And over time, you confuse patience with progress because the relationship is not painful, but it's just indefinite. And understand, ladies, that healthy relationships don't move forward because someone is nice, because you're giving a lot. They move forward when your empathy is paired with limits and when your care is also paired with direction. When there are no limits, no standards, there's nothing inspiring him to make a choice. And that's why these kind of connections are some of the hardest ones to leave. Alright ladies, so before ending the video, let's go over one comment that really stood out to me. And this one comes from Jazz Star, who wrote, "I'm not pessimistic about this topic, but I feel like it's simply extremely hard for most people right now. Like the majority of humanity is in survival mode in every sense. Who has the time and energy to find a relationship?" Yes, I know that life is heavy for a lot of people right now, okay? Many are operating from survival mode, like you said, but at the same time, I want to tell you that being with the right person is not going to add more pressure to your life. It often makes everything feel lighter and more manageable. That is why this is not about forcing yourself to find a relationship, but about becoming the woman who naturally attracts a partnership that is going to support you instead of draining you. Anyways, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and remember that for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.